to be able to do this, and thank you. I think, as Julie just said earlier, a few minutes ago, it's a good opportunity just to take a step back, say thank you to each other, and acknowledge just what I know every day is just fantastic work done throughout this hospital. We will continue to find ways of acknowledging that as we go forward. But you made a difference. We took a temporary suspension of that in terms of earlier on in the COVID, but we took the view that it's actually really important to keep it on its monthly rhythm at the moment. So we have reinstituted it in its monthly rhythm. We had a big celebration of lots of You Made a Difference winners at the end of 2020, but actually something about it, just the ticking clock of everybody every month recognizing this is something I think is really important. We've actually been doing You Made a Difference for nearly 12 years now, actually, a long time. And it's really central, I think, and it's really cemented in the way in which, as a hospital, we acknowledge the fantastic people that we have within Addenbrooke's and the Rosie. And, all of us know that long corridor between ACT and the main hospital and all those photos. So Tracy and Julie, your photos will go up on that corridor as part of this, and that's a very public recognition across the whole hospital, and I think that's what makes You Made a Difference so special. We know, everybody around this on these screens knows that people are doing extraordinary things every minute of the day in Addenbrooke's Hospital, and we know that thousands of our staff are doing extraordinary things. It's not just one or two. And I hope and trust that we are good with each other on our daily acknowledgement of that as we see it amongst our colleagues and our friends and our peers and so on. What makes You Made a Difference different is a way in which the whole hospital as an entity, if you like, is able to say thank you to individuals or teams. And that's what we do when we celebrate You Made a Difference. So it's really, really important. Despite the fact it's been going on for nearly 12 years, the number of nominations we have remains absolutely stupendous. It's never got tired. It's never reduced in the numbers. So it's not that anybody who wins this is the only person who's been nominated. That is very far from the truth. And Donna, my screen's just gone down, so you'll probably know the number better than me, but it was in excess of 90 nominations this month that were put forward. And that related to more
95 nominations.
95 nominations, and that was in regard to more than 80 people. So
correct, 83.
And actually, to be nominated at all is fabulous. And therefore, hopefully, those of you, Julie, Tracy, who have won it, so to speak, are being acknowledged today. Recognise your achievement, not only in being nominated, but then through that to be the two people today who we are saying thank you to. It's a big achievement, and I hope you both do recognise that. And I could tell your fans do recognise that by the waving and so on. So it really is heartfelt, really is important. Now, normally Roland and I would come around and do this physically in the hospital, and as we both just been all saying, hopefully we will be able to do that soon. But everybody understands in the current climate that wouldn't be appropriate. I have insisted that despite the fact that we're not physically present, we are still baking cakes, and you will still be getting cakes. And also there are other awards and prizes associated with the thing. I'm not quite sure how you share the cakes in this environment, but that's a challenge I leave to teams themselves. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand over to Roland, who's now going to do the bit which sometimes some recipients find is the bit that's personally embarrassing, because it's the bit that says so much, so positively about the two people who have been awarded. But let me just say, it may be positive, I hope it's not embarrassing, but it's all absolutely true. So over to you, Roland.
Lovely. Mike, thank you. Thank you very much for what you've said, and a huge thank you to all of you for joining now. And we're in very difficult times, aren't we? And I think these moments are a chance just to come together and celebrate some of the extraordinary things that happen in the hospital. And we do extraordinary things every day, and sometimes those relate to moments of great joy and happiness when people get better and leave us in a much better state. And sometimes people come to be cared for here at Addenbrooke's and the Rosie, and the outcomes are not what any of us would wish for them, and we have to be there to catch them and hold them and support them. And Tracy Johnson, if you just give us a wave so everyone knows who you are. Tracy, you're one of those people who's been there to catch people when they're falling, and it's very moving to read this nomination. And I would say, Tracy, it's in the context of on the occasions when we do awards for the emergency department, of the colleagues there, Mike and I both sometimes have quite a visceral reaction. I think we lost a cake when we came to the emergency department for one award. And on another occasion when I made the award, an award into the emergency department, I cut my finger in a gardening accident and found myself going straight from presenting the award and found myself under anaesthetic in the afternoon, having my finger stitched back together. So if I look at all twitchy, Tracy, that's why.
I should just correct Roland. He didn't lose the cake. We dropped it.
we dropped it, and needless to say, the emergency department did have a backup cake because it's the emergency department. But in that context, Tracy, I mean, this is very moving, and as I say, you're one of those people who's there to catch people when they're falling, and to help them go forward, and that's something we should always hold in our minds. So Tracy, you're a very well thought of and loved member of the emergency department team, and I think alongside the work that you do that we're about to talk about, you've always got a smile on your face. And you're always willing to go that extra mile, not just to support our patients, but to support the colleagues who stand to your left and your right and in front of you and behind you. And that's why I think this is such a moving nomination. So I'm going to read this out now, Tracy. So Tracy, you're part of the link roll group for gynecology into the emergency department. And all the time, you and we are thinking about ways in which we can improve the experience of our patients in the ED, who very sadly miscarry when they were pregnant or pregnant and are expecting to have a baby. And that's obviously a deeply traumatic and upsetting experience for mum, father, and everybody involved, and the team who've been looking after the patient. But Tracy, you and your sister really made these absolutely beautiful patterned fabric bags. And into those bags, you pop antibacterial wipes, tissues, nicer sanitary ware than we currently provide within the emergency department. And that's a really special thing to give to somebody who's been through a very upsetting and testing time. And so this is all tied together with this fabric heart that you make. And the patients have to sit in our waiting room, which is, I think, again, very upsetting for them at times. And this provides a really lovely, discreet way of giving them the supplies that they need in a confidential way. It's not something we have to do, you have to do, but you chose to do it yourself. And you've done all of this using your own time and your own money with your sister, and that's absolutely terrific. And on top of all of this, as I said, you're a very hardworking, dependable member of staff, and you always go above and beyond for the patients. And it's always reassuring to know that the patients are going to receive the absolute best care when Tracy's on. You're an absolute superstar, is what everybody says. So Tracy, really well done. A huge round of applause for you. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. That's very kind.
Good. Would any of the massive fan club of Tracy like to add anything? I mean, Sarah, you were particularly, Sarah Jane Kelly, you were particularly enthusiastic. Is there anything you would add?
Yeah, well, I work with Tracy quite regularly, and I think she's just fantastic. She is a rock. She smiles. She's just, every time I come on a shift and she's there, I feel better. So thank you, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you. And a bark from the dog too.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Tracy, is there anything you'd like to say at all?
I just want to say thank you to the whole team, really. I've only been there sort of just over 2 years, and it's just fabulous. I absolutely love the team. We all work really well together. And the idea of the packs really was just, it's such a public place, the emergency department, and we sort of tend to hand these ladies a sanitary towel as they walk through the door. And it's just, I just wanted something to be a bit more discreet for them, just because, and at the moment as well, with not being able to have their partners in, I just think it made quite a big difference. So yeah, but thank you, and to Anna Jones as well, who is the lead of our gynae group. So yeah, thank you, and thank you for my fantastic presentation yesterday from Helen and the team. It was a big surprise.
Good. Well, I'm very glad that the presentation went well, and Tracy, you're an absolute superstar. And it's these things that make the difference to our patients and to our colleagues, and help us all keep going when things are tough. So well done. Many congratulations.
Congratulations.
Roland, can I just add something? Tracy, I mean, what you've done there, for me, epitomises one of the really important things about what we were about, is being kind and safe. And kindness is about actually seeing the patients or the individuals as individuals, isn't it? So it's not just the functionality of giving them, the sanitary pads, but the way in which you do it, which is discreet, which is kind of respectful. That's the sort of difference that people remember, isn't it? That's what makes people remember and be grateful to the hospital. So it's not a huge act. It's not a big thing. It's a very small but a vitally important thing to that individual patient and their family. And I think that speaks to our values absolutely centrally. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lovely. Thank you, Mike and Tracy. So Donna, we'll come on then to our second award-winning nominee, and that's Julie Birkin. Julie, could you give us a huge wave? Yeah. Lovely. And Julie, you've got your is that this You Made a Difference award, or is it a previous one?
No, it's definitely this one.
It's this one.
Yeah.
Good. Well, lovely to see. And I mean, Julie, many congratulations. You're an occupational therapist in clinical oncology, aren't you? And you joined the Breathlessness Intervention Service in 2009, having previously specialised in oncology and palliative care. And you're helping people when they're struggling with breathlessness, aren't you? Okay, so for all of us, you're looking after the patients who are feeling really vulnerable, they're really scared, and they're then struggling to breathe, and you're helping them find coping mechanisms for that and to be able to breathe. And this isn't a bit out of breath galloping up the stairs, is it? This is really serious and challenging times when they must be very frightened. Yeah. And this is at the absolute heart of You Made a Difference, because you're helping people through that stage of their journey. And it's very moving again to read this nomination for you, and a huge thank you for all that you're doing. So I'm going to say a little bit about you and then read out the nomination, if that's okay. So Julie, you're the clinical lead for the Cambridge Breathlessness Intervention Service, and you combine a busy full-time clinical workload also with service management and strategic leadership. So you're clearly not, don't have much time for anything else. I'm sure you do, because people who are this busy tend to have lots of things on. And you work with Maggie's Cancer Support to deliver HOPE courses, and you're trained as a health coach in the trust. And obviously you're leading the Breathlessness Intervention Service and supporting all of the members of the team all at the same time. And then during the pandemic, you've had a huge amount to do to embrace new opportunities and challenges. And that's been, I think, very testing at times, and well done. And you've done all of this with a significant caseload, leading the development of the health app, and also providing flexible, empowering and compassionate leadership. And what really stands out, Julie, I think about you is your deep dedication to patients and colleagues, a really proactive and positive can-do attitude. And Mike and I and Donna are told that nothing is ever too much trouble for you. I would be slightly careful, because you're taking on so much. There's more that people will want to give you, and you clearly have got the appetite to do that. So clearly terrific. And this is the nomination, Julie, that was written about you. So So I recently returned from maternity leave. That's not me, it's the person who wrote the nomination. To a whole new way of post-COVID working. Everything is different. My role, my environment, my patients, but the reassuring continuity of my line manager, Julie, has made a huge difference to how I've been able to manage my return. And Julie, I mean, out of our 11,000 members of staff, 5,000 we think are now working in a way that's incredibly different to the way it was before COVID. And what we're finding is what makes the biggest difference to people handling that change is the engagement of people like you as line managers to help people as they're dealing with those changes. And you've clearly done that very well here. And so the nomination, Julie, continues. Throughout my leave, she offered updates and advice on how things were changing in the hospital and our service due to COVID by phone and by video. And in the run up to my return, she went the extra mile to ensure I felt confident and supported and had everything I needed. Upon my return, and for the past 2 months since I've been back, she's continued to proactively offer regular support by video or phone, even though I know her schedule and workload is incredibly busy. She's an excellent mentor who uses a coaching style to manage her team, and this helps us to build confidence more quickly. Something which I've certainly appreciated over the past few months as the changes to my work have been so significant, and my confidence could easily have been shattered. Coming back to work at such a challenging time for the service, the hospital, and the wider community has been something that could have been really difficult. But Julie's made sure that it wasn't as challenging, and that's with her commitment to the team and the service that the team are therefore able to offer. But it's also the fact that she's been so kind and generous, and she's had a really supportive approach to how she manages everyone. So Julie, huge well done, and thank you. It's a very moving nomination. Many, many congratulations and well done. Would anybody else like to say anything on behalf of Julie, having heard the nomination? I can see some.
Is Anna there?
Is Anna there?
Yes, I'm here. Sorry, it took me a moment to unmute.
Yes,
yeah, I just want to add that Julie's been making, this is from all of us in BIS, and Julie's been making a difference, not just during the pandemic, but for ages. She's the person who's always seeking those patients who all the other health professionals are thinking, I'm not sure we can help anymore. And it's just always hung in and really made a difference. And then during the pandemic, had the foresight to see that although we're in a palliative care team, actually we really could help long COVID patients with their symptoms. So it's a completely different idea, a totally different way of working. And so far it does seem to be helping people with long COVID. I could go on, but I think above all is just the way Julie has a sense of, yes, I can do that, we can do this, let's help, rather than sort of putting up barriers. It's the complete opposite to that.
No, and Anna, I think to hear, it's not just the service that Julie is providing to our patients and how she's managed to evolve that to pick up patients with long COVID, which is a big area of focus for us and will continue to be. It's also the way that she's looking after everyone in the team and enabling them to grow, feel safe in what are really difficult times. It's fantastic to hear. Thank you for that, Anna. And Julie, is there anything you'd like to say?
Yeah, I think I'd just like to say really just that I feel very proud of the team that I represent, and I know that this is an award for me, but I very much see it as an award for the team, the breathlessness team. We're a small team, but we're a dynamic team, and it's very easy to lead with such an amazing group of professionals to lead. And I'm just really grateful for them for being really flexible, adaptable in all the challenges that we've had. And also knowing that they're making a very valued difference to their patients and also to me as well as team lead, but also as part of the wider palliative care team, just feeling very proud of the contribution that palliative care has within this. Palliative care professionals, we're used to dealing with complex symptoms, we're used to dealing with complexities of people and used to dealing or helping people to manage uncertainties. and I'm sure that we've all had to draw upon those in the past year or so, really, with what we're doing. So it just makes me feel really proud and really lucky to be part of the palliative care team here, as well as the breathlessness service. And just thank you to everybody, really, and thank you for taking the time out in a busy schedule to make a nomination. It was Christmas Eve actually that I received the nomination after a year of like challenge and just thinking, oh, thank God that year is nearly over. It was actually a really, really lovely end to the year, and the nomination would have been enough. So it was a real, you know, it was an amazing thing to hear in January as well. So thank you very much.
No, well, really well done. And as you say, a lovely thing to get, you know, as we went into, you know, the heart of the winter period. And I'm sure it will help carry you and the team through. So well done, Julie. Donna, could we go back to so we can see everyone? It's lovely seeing Julie. Or is it just me who's just got Julie in the centre of my screen? Is everybody else can see everyone? No, it's me. Okay, well, that's my grappling with technology. So look, a huge thank you to everyone, and again a big well done to both Julie and Tracy. So you have the You Made a Difference certificate, and obviously the You Made a Difference badge. Yes, lovely, well done. And then you have the gift vouchers, which I very much hope you'll use for yourself. You know, sometimes some of the team members are looking forward to the vouchers and the cake just as much as you are. So I'll lead you to wrestle that out of the hospital later on today. But we really do hope you'll use it to get yourself something nice to remember this award, because it is important, and it is all about a teamwork, but it's also about you personally and what you're contributing. So I think a huge thank you and well done again to both Tracy and Julie. Well done.
Thank you.
Mike, is there anything you would add?
Well, I was just going to add that we can't, it's obviously it's all cyber celebration, if you like, but I think those of us will all recall, or well, I guess all of us will recall the sonic boom in Cambridge just the other day. So why don't we all turn our microphones off and clap and create our own sonic boom for Tracy and Julie? So if you all turn your microphones on and we all clap, then hopefully they and the rest of the hospital can hear us. So well done, both of you.
Oh, it's for Tracy. I've got my camera off, so you're fine. You can carry on. I'm not on my face.
Great. Good. Well done. Thanks for that, Mike. Okay. Good. Well, thank you. So unless anybody else wants to say anything else, Donna, shall we draw to a close now? Is that okay? Does anybody else want to add anything at all? I can see, Andy, you've drawn people into your office with the clapping. That's well done. Hi, Baz. How are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Very good. Very good. Lovely to see you. Okay. Good. Lovely. Well, thanks, everyone. Have a lovely day, and stay safe and well, and look forward to seeing you around face to face at some point. Have a lovely afternoon, and bye.
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Roland.